A local trauma surgeon from Sacred Heart just returned from a week-long mission to Haiti, where he performed all sorts of surgeries, amputations, and treated various wounds and infections. Tonight, the pictures and video he took, along with what the experience meant to him.
It's horrendous, but when you see people living it and you're there with them, it just seems much more real.
Spokane trauma surgeon Dr. Matt Rollins traveled to Port-au-Prince, Haiti, less than a week after the earthquake. He took these photos and video capturing the devastation and loss by so many, somehow trying to encapsulate the sheer scale of it, but also in part to document the experience to share with others.
It's not like there were many people that lost family. It was more that most people had lost family. And when I sat down and talked with people individually about the experiences that they'd had and about where they were when the earthquake hit and who they lost in the earthquake, it dawns on you that nobody's going to ever hear all of these stories because there are 3 million Haitians that have these stories.
Rollins says it was heart-wrenching and disturbing to have to practice medicine in those conditions, comparing it to pre-Civil War medicine.
To have to practice and deliver care to human beings at a much lower and very base level was painful. It was very painful to be involved in it, and there were times where you just wanted to not be involved in it, and you felt like the care that you were giving was so suboptimal that you just didn't want to do it. But then you walked back out into the hospital courtyard where all these patients are sitting out there waiting to be treated, and you realize that the other option was that they just perish overnight, and so you continue to do it.
Rollins says while he did make a difference, it was just a drop in the bucket in the big picture.
It's easy to walk away feeling like your mission completely failed because there are still Haitians suffering, and the medicine that you delivered was not optimal in any way. But on an individual basis, when I think about the few people that we were able to help, it's very gratifying.
And with us now is Dr. Rollins. Now, the camera lens can only show us so much of the story. How is the video different from before you left and then when you got there? And here's some of that video you took.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. Through the lens, you see the destruction of the buildings. You see the people, but until you're there actually experiencing the people and seeing how they survived this incident, and you see their resilience and the spirit that they have about them, you just kind of want to run away in horror. But when you're there and you're seeing that and you're sensing that spirit, it just calls you to be engaged and to help. And it becomes, strangely, a less scary situation because you're there surviving and fighting with everybody else.
And you're there obviously providing medical support, and you can only bring so much with you. But talk about the challenge of distribution of all those supplies. Yeah,
you know, I think there's not a lack of medical supplies in Haiti, but they're not in the hands of physicians, they're not in hospitals, and they're not largely getting to patients. Logistics is everything, and I think logistics in Haiti on a good day are difficult, and put that after a major earthquake and a lot of people being displaced, it makes it much more difficult. So I think that was the biggest challenge we dealt with, was getting the resources and the physicians and nurses that had been deployed there out to the people that needed them.
All right, Dr. Rollins, thanks so much for this, and of course this will be on KXLY.com a little bit later in the day, so thank you for your efforts there. Robin?